the chakra video assignment. So the chakra, known as the wheel, is this sense of energy that is going throughout the body. And so this series of energy and consciousness that we harbor in our body that starts from the root of the tailbone and rises up to the crown of our head, all of that actually connects to the way in which we hold the energy in our body. And the way that the chakra functions is whenever the right and left nadis actually intertwine, and so that flowing upwards for the prana and life energy is the way in which that the chakras impact us. And our students can certainly relate to the chakra experience based on what their challenges are or what they have as strengths. And so, for instance, myself, I feel really connected to the heart chakra, which is that ability to open ourselves up and to share that sense of unconditional love. And we can certainly connect with our students based on their interests and also maybe their families or areas of their professional and personal life. To begin the first chakra, the Muladhara chakra, this is going to be focused on self-sufficiency. So our ability to take care of ourselves, the way in which we're able to make sure that we have shelter, food, everything that we would need in order to survive and thrive. And so this is where we have our needs met. This is created by the foods we eat, the way that we were raised, overall our upbringing and all of those experiences. And this is where we are the most grounded to the earth, and that connection, that is what would connect us to the Muladhara chakra. The second chakra that I want to speak about is the Swadhisthana chakra, and this is the chakra that's deeply connected to our emotions. So this is going to have a lot to do with our relationships, the way in which the energies fluctuate will in fact be influenced by our own relationships. And so if we are having positive relationships, we're going to be experiencing that rush of positive emotions that's going to directly relate to the strengthening of that chakra. And this is also the way that we connect with intimacy. And so this chakra, if there is a buildup or a blockage in intimacy, oftentimes that just means we need to work through this chakra. The next chakra is the Manipura chakra, and this has a lot to do with our ego and self-identity. And so when we're talking about this chakra, it's the way that we balance ourselves when contributing to the world, not only personally, professionally, but overall in terms of community, what we are sending out to the world. And so in order for us to have this balanced Manipura chakra, we need to make sure that our ego is not too high, that we feel that we are the most important person in the room taking up too much space. But we also want to make sure that it's not too weak, that we feel insecure or that we are lacking in that sense of self, because that can also be draining for those people in the space. The next chakra is the Anahata chakra, and this is the art chakra. This is going to be the chakra that connects to compassion and love from the heart. So this is that unconditional love chakra that I mentioned earlier. And so this is something that that unconditional love can really be constricted by selfishness. And the way that we're able to show unconditional love is through selflessness. And so that fluctuation of the chakra will be based on what we send out to the world. And so this particular chakra is something that we would need to work through if we're struggling with our sense of self, being able to obviously make deeper connections with others. We want to make sure we're not being too selfish and too focused on our individual needs. And so that is the Anahata chakra. The next chakra is the Vishuddha chakra, and this is going to be the one that deals with communication. It makes it so that all of our interactions overall are what's being impacted. And this roots primarily in the sense of purity and truth, where we have each interaction either being positive and restorative, and then interactions that kind of leave us with that negative feeling, although something may not have been intended to be negative. If we're sensing that energy from someone else, or if we're the one bringing that energy, that means we need to work particularly on that Vishuddha chakra. The next chakra is the Ajna chakra. The Ajna chakra, which I find to be one of the most fascinating, relates to our intuition, that mind's eye, third eye. And so when we're thinking about the way that we see the world, the Ajna chakra is what connects us to our ability to see things beyond the physical. And so this has a lot to do with the energies in the spaces, but also that intuition that can sometimes be polluted when we fail to see the interconnected nature of community. And this is something that our physical eyes are usually blocked from seeing. And so if at some point in time we're struggling to connect with community and base ourselves in that intuition, that's going to connect to that Ajna chakra. And finally, the Sara chakra, the Shara chakra, that has to do with the interconnectivity. So if we are at any point in time feeling exceptionally lonely or disconnected from others, this is going to be the chakra that roots in our crown and is going to either enable us to connect deeper with others or could actually prevent us from having those connections. So this chakra, for instance, if you're having low energy of this chakra, you may feel a sense of loneliness even when you're in a space with other people, or even when you're in a space that would otherwise make you feel empowered and supported. And this is rooted in that 1,000 lotus, since it's so hard to contain. And so when we're thinking about the ways that this relates to our students and to us, I specifically take into connection the Anahata chakra, which is that unconditional love chakra. And this is something I struggle with because, as mentioned in the modules, it's something that can also be negative for us if we're unable to take care of ourselves. So similar to the Svati teacher or student, if we're too willing to give everything, then sometimes there's not really much left for us. And I definitely feel this as a teacher, where oftentimes I'm struggling to determine kind of how much love I'm able to give to the space based on how much love I'm showing towards myself. But especially that unconditional love is integral to healing. And so I find that having that unconditional love for my students and the families that I work with is what makes me more successful and makes me feel more restored as a person beyond just my job. And so these are the 7 chakras, and the way in which I connect primarily through the heart chakra is through my professional and personal life working with children.